Welcome back to Off the Bar podcast alongside Connor O'Brien. My name is Rafael de los Santos, and welcome to what would be the third part of wants and needs and wants. I don't even know what we're calling it at this point. But this is the Serie edition. For the first two, we did Premier League. First one was just Premier League. What did you guys do? Top six. And for the second one,
we did top six first time. Second time we went around to the rest of them.
And this being the third part, we're going to do a Serie A. I think naturally the fourth part of this series might be La Liga. You can expect myself and Daniel Perez on that one. But for now, we're doing Serie A, and it'll be Connor O'Brien and your host, Rafael dos Santos, like I said earlier. But let's kind of get right into it. Today, we're going to be talking about the top six in Serie A, what we think is going to be the top six coming into this year, what basically was literally the top six last year in the Serie A. We're talking about Lazio, Napoli, Roma, Inter, AC Milan, and Juventus. We're going to be talking about how they did last year, who they're bringing in, who's leaving the club, what they need, in our opinion, what they want in terms of rumors and transfer rumors and such, and where we expect them to end up in the table, like regarding who's leaving, who's coming in, and all of that. But yeah, let's get right into it. The first team that I want to talk about is the team that I think will finish sixth out of the six that I mentioned, and that's Lazio. Do you remember the project that we did in class about Lazio?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I remember Lazio.
Dude,
Like, I don't ask Lazio fans where they were in 1943.
Dude, I can never see Lazio as a team the same ever again. Like, obviously no one that's listening to this knows unless they were in the class, but basically we had to do a project on a certain rivalry, and I got the Rome rivalry, so Roma versus Lazio. And in my research, I found out that like Lazio was Mussolini's team, like a team built on like fascist ideals and things like that. And it was so crazy. And his grandson, whose last name is Mussolini, still plays for Lazio. And it's like I can never see the team the same ever again. But that's a total like derail. But yeah, let's get into Lazio needs and wants. Basically, I think the Lazio is going to finish sixth place. Like I mentioned, last year they finished in fifth. They're bringing in a lot of players, a lot of young players. You got Luis Maximal from Granada. For those of you that follow La Liga, Maximal is 23 years old. I think he might have started most games for Granada, perhaps behind Escandel, but a really good young goalkeeper, especially since Lazio lost Strakosha. If you play FIFA, I think you might know who Strakosha is. You know, Connor?
I know Strakosha. Strakosha.
Strakosha.
I've never read that one. That's a name I'm not getting right.
It's a difficult one. Strakosha. He went on a free to Brentford. Obviously a team that's trying to stay up in the Premier League again. So they brought in Luis Maximal from Granada, 23-year-old goalkeeper, for 11 million. They also brought in Romagnoli from AC Milan. I think that's a huge pickup for a team like Lazio, who finished fifth place, bringing in Romagnoli, who's a veteran, not just a veteran, but a veteran that won the Serie A last year with AC Milan. They're adding them to the squad. I know this one's a bit like niche, but they're also getting Mario Gila from Real Madrid's Castilla system for 6 million. Usually when you buy from a team like Real Madrid or Barcelona, when you buy like from their youth systems, or like even teams like Chelsea or like PSV, Ajax, teams that make really good youngsters, you usually have to kind of like overpay for these players. But I think in Mario Gila for 6 million, a guy that plays, I had this picture in my head, but I couldn't remember the name. Raul. A guy that plays center back under Raul. So really interesting to see for Lazio. But I think that the players that are leaving Lazio kind of outweigh who they're bringing in. Like I already mentioned, Strakosha is leaving to go to Brentford. You have Luis Felipe, the Brazilian center back. He went on a free to Betis, so another guy to La Liga. But you remember how Joaquin Correa, the guy that plays for Inter, he was on loan at Inter from Lazio, but they made his loan, like they bought him out. Like Inter bought Joaquin Correa from Lazio for 26 million. And that's why I kind of have them finishing sixth out of this group, or putting them last in the top six. They lost Joaquin Correa, they lost Strakosha, and they lost Luis Felipe. So basically, they lost their best attacker, in my opinion, other than Ciro Immobile. Luis Felipe, for me, is definitely their best defender, and Strakosha was the starting goalkeeper. And they're replacing them with like decent players, but I think that naturally they would need a winger. They have Ciro Immobile up there, but on either wing, what do they have? Like Felipe Anderson. Like I don't really think that's anywhere near what you need to finish in this like not in sixth. So to finish fifth, fourth, third, I don't think they'll ever finish top two. But in the Serie A, which has gotten like really competitive, especially after Cristiano Ronaldo left Juventus, even when Cristiano Ronaldo was at Juventus, because they didn't even win anything, or they didn't win the Serie A. Serie A has gotten pretty competitive, so I think for them to compete better, they would need way better attack. I know they have Milinkovic Savage in midfield,
Mm.
but bro, he's like Mike Trout if Shohei Ohtani wasn't in the
Yeah.
Angels. Right? Like, get out
Like
of that
you see, like they're
team.
playing like Shohei Otani's done something that hasn't been done since like 1922 by like Wildcat Williams of a team that doesn't even
Yeah,
has
bro.
been in 70 years. Mike Trout is batting 400 with like and he had 4 home runs today. Angels lost 5-3.
Dude, Mike Trout is
Like,
just too good. The Angels aren't gonna do it. Like, they're not gonna win the World Series. So, like, you want to see Mike Trout, who's like a generational, like, if generational, like, Merriam-Webster had a definition for generational talent, like Mike Trout will be like next to it. Shohei Ohtani is that guy as well, but like you want to see like Mike Trout isn't like young anymore. So
mm,
you want to see him do well. And like Milinkovic Savage is up there. Like I feel like he might be in his late 20s now for sure. He has to be like 28, 29. I could look it up right now. He's 27. So entering the prime of his career, the man has been linked to every team ever since he started playing, and he's only been at Lazio. He needs to get out of there. Um, Same thing with like Koulibaly, and we'll get to Koulibaly in a second. Koulibaly has been in Napoli forever, and he's always been linked with everyone. And it's like, dude, get out of there because you're never going to win anything. Same thing for Milinkovic Savage, and the same thing could be said for Ciro Immobile. I don't want to like pick apart Lazio and be like, yo, all your star players should
all
leave
these
because
guys
you
can
guys
go.
suck, but like that's kind of how they are.
I don't know. I
Um,
think Immobile will probably. I would be. I mean, it's kind of Immobile's club. Like, I'd be shocked if he ever left. It's kind of hard, like moving out of Rome, especially at his age. I believe he's like early to mid 30s, somewhere in there. Like, he's not like. Is that right?
he has to be in his early. He's
He's got to be
32.
like. I think he's 32. Like, I don't see like at this point. Like, I don't think he'd make a big move. And if he makes a move, it'd be like Fiorentina or somewhere. I don't know. Like, I mean, with Milinkovic Savage too. Like, I feel like it's not if, but when he moves. Like
Like
Lazio's not a club where like you at this point, like at prime of your career, you should be playing. Like he's a guy that'll get an upgrade. I personally think he's the best like midfielder in Serie A. I couldn't think of anyone better off the top of my. Who would be better? Who's better than
better than
Milinkovic?
Milinkovic Savage.
Yeah, in Serie A.
I mean, a lot of it depends because like when people say is a player better than this guy or that guy, like do you want to go based off like last season? There was a bunch of guys better than him last season.
I guess. Yeah.
But I
There
know
guys
what you're
got better
saying.
seasons. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
What
The
I'm
West is
saying is
come
that
on.
yeah, like I guess that's a little bit
Yeah.
biased,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is that you have like Hero Immobile up top, and then who do you have next to him? Like Felipe Anderson and Pedro. Like
Yeah.
you have
It's
Milinkovic
an
Savage in
old.
the midfield,
Yeah.
like Luis
It's an old drama.
Alberto there.
Yeah. The Serbies
It's
in the
just
background. Like.
yeah, like what you have. So like today we're talking about Lazio, Napoli, Roma, Inter, AC Milan, and Juventus.
Mm.
Napoli could I finish in the top? Like you can see them fighting for it. You don't see them winning the league, but you can see them fighting for it. You can see Roma fighting to be fourth or third. You can see AC Milan 1 or 2, Juventus 1 or 2, Inter 1, 2, or 3.
Mm.
A lot. You're like, would you reckon Lazio finishes over Napoli, Roma, Inter, AC Milan, or Juventus?
I
It would
mean, I
take
would
like
be less shocked if they finished like seventh or eighth than like out of these top six teams, like Lazio to me is like by far the weakest team. Like even like a team that was weak, like Roma did not have the strongest Serie A season last year, finishing in fifth. They still won the Conference League.
I mean,
They still had
yeah,
decent outing. They bumped like way. They were like eighth with like a month to go, and they finished like fifth.
and not only that, but Roma finished 1 point behind Lazio last year. Fiorentina were right there behind them. You had Atalanta, which had like their worst season in like the last 2-3 years,
Mm-hmm.
finished with what 59 points, whereas Lazio finished with, I believe, 63 or
Yeah,
64.
like that.
I mean, they were right there. So, um, I agree with you on that. I think before I see Lazio like making a big jump in the top six, I see them leaving the top six and having like Atalanta replace them, or even Fiorentina, because Fiorentina I think picked up Luka Jovic from Real Madrid.
Yeah, I mean that's a great pickup for Fiorentina, but they were in like third before they sold Vlahovic, and they just kind of folded. Like I think they ended up finishing like 10th.
Yeah, but I mean, they finished seventh in the end, but they will probably use the money from Vlahovic to really strengthen that squad, and who knows what'll happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, to wrap Lazio up, I have them finishing six out of just to put them in this group, like in this top six, quote unquote, top six group. Because I could definitely, like I said, see Atalanta finishing in front of them and Fiorentina finishing in front of them. Because you're talking about a team whose like stars are like ripe for the picking. Like it's not a team that's going to build around these guys. It's a team that's going to lose these guys and probably going to have to like start over again or something.
Yeah, I agree. I would say sixth too.
Moving on to who I think would finish fifth out of this group, we have good old Napoli under Maurizio Sarri, your former coach. Why don't you take it away with
Napoli? Well, I don't recognize Sarri as a former coach. Like you can't, if you're getting shown up by Kepa in the middle of like a major game like that, he's just absolutely like he left a game. Like I'm not a Sarri fan. Like he's not our coach. I don't recognize him. With like Napoli, I think Napoli's I could definitely I agree with you they're going to be in fifth. They did have a really strong showing last year. They have a lot of really young like fun guys like Osimhen, have guys like Chucky Lozano, guys that are great. The problem is they're having so many key pieces leave the club right now. Like you see like Insigne, who just had like a really really strong season with them. He's been their guy like offensively for a long time. Same with Dries Mertens, he's been there forever. Insigne to Toronto FC. They're just not re-signing Mertens for whatever, not even for depth. If any of these guys get hurt in the front three, like Zielinski gets hurt as an attacking mid, like Politano gets hurt, they don't have the depth to like replace that. In soccer, you played 38 games. They're going to play like Coppa Italia. They're going to go play Champions League. Like they have a 50 game schedule, 60 game schedule. Like somebody's going to get hurt. There's no depth on that squad. And when you're missing like Insigne, Dries Mertens, when you lose Koulibaly to Chelsea, you have a lot of key positions that you need to fill guys in on, and they don't have the depth right now to do that. I just don't think like in modern soccer without depth like that, like you cannot compete. And I just don't see Napoli being able to like repeat what they did in third place last season.
Yeah, when I was looking at their team, I thought, you got a team that finished third place last year, but like you said, a team that lost Insigne to Toronto for free. You have a team that lost Ospina, their backup goalie, for free to the Saudi League. Mertens is out of contract. Who knows if they'll sign him again? They might lose Koulibaly, who's been probably like the best Napoli player since like Edinson Cavani, and before Cavani was Maradona. Gonzalo Higuain in there. Napoli, Gonzalo Higuain, one of the best players ever. Jesus Christ. But and all they've done to like replace all these guys is they brought in Matias Oliveira from Getafe at 12 million, who's a really good left back. And in their needs, I put that they need a center back if they lose Koulibaly for sure. And then they needed a left back. And they've gone on and done that. So I think they're off to a good start. There's still a lot of transfer window to go. But if they lose Koulibaly, man, I don't know. You're talking about like you got to attract really, really good center back or a really young, promising center back. And the market's really limited for that, especially when you have a lot of bigger teams that are rebuilding. Like you have Manchester United, who's like having a crazy amount of money, and no one in that team has like a safe spot on that team. So like you got a guy like Pau Torres. For a lot of these teams that have like they could get Pau Torres if they wanted to, but like I think Pau Torres is gonna pick Napoli before he picks Manchester United. No way.
Well, Manchester United is not a hot commodity right now.
Dude, with the amount of money they have and how big that badge is, they'll buy anyone.
I mean, you got Frankie De Jong with like his club is telling him like I don't want it, like we don't want you here anymore, and he's still being like I'd rather stay here than go to Manchester United.
I don't know. Manchester United
that club is right now. I don't know.
It's a hot mess. They have Cristiano Ronaldo trying to leave.
For now, until he inevitably leave. Like he's even like he's 38. He's about to go. Like he wants to go. He told them he wants to go. Like I can't.
He's gonna leave because he's not gonna not play Champions League. That's why I think he's gonna leave. If I see Cristiano playing Europa League, that's crazy.
Like he can go to like another Champions League team will pick him up. It's more like where does he want to go?
No, more like where can he go? He's not gonna go to any of the Premier League, Champions League teams. Like no shot. I mean, he could like he could go to Chelsea. Like why not?
It'd be hilarious if he ended up at Arsenal.
Like he's not gonna go to PSG. That would be crazy. But they're not playing Champions League either.
I can see him. He's been linked to Bayern.
That's possible because I just don't see PSG getting him.
I don't know. I could see him going back to like to Portugal playing there.
Dude, he's way too good still.
I know, but like 38, just go have like a 30 goals, like go break like the goal scoring record in like League of Portugal. Like that's like a legacy season.
Well, he could do it if he wanted
Yeah.
to, but it won't happen for sure. It's like he could go back to Real Madrid and like bag like 40 goals and run for the Champions League for real, one last time.
Where does he play? Where does he fit into that squad?
Dude,
Right wing.
anywhere up top, throw him up top. Just play strikers up top.
He's not getting into that squad over Benzema right now.
It's Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano
Bro.
Ronaldo, dude. Whatever amount of good you think he was at
Yeah.
Manchester United, when you put him in Real Madrid, he'll be like 3 times better. Yeah,
I can see
he's
him start
playing
on that
behind
right
a bunch
side.
of better players.
He can start on that right wing spot.
He will kick Vinicius out of left wing. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. But yeah, enough about the Ronaldo rant. Where were we? Who we think? Oh, Napoli. But yeah, like I said, needs and wants for Napoli. I think they need a center back. For Koulibaly if he leaves for sure. He's gonna be so expensive. By the way, Connor, as a Chelsea fan, that's gonna.
No, he's not. We're getting him for under 40 mil.
No,
his wages, no, it's 39 mil, 10 mil a season paying him. Like it is expensive, but it's not like break the bank. Like
I remember when Koulibaly was like, "Oh, you want Koulibaly? 80 million."
Yeah,
80 million. I don't know. We'll see. 40 million is decent, to be fair. But yeah, they need a center back and lose Koulibaly. I thought they need a left back, but they got Matias Oliveira. I'm really happy with that signing. If you know anything about La Liga, Matias Oliveira is a really good young left back from Uruguay, and he'll probably have a good World Cup. But I think that's a really good signing for Napoli, especially since like Napoli doesn't have anything to offer these guys. I think they need a winger or an attacker of some sort, or a center attacking mid of some sort, because they have like Mertens and Insigne going out, like you said. Once in terms of like rumors that I found, maybe they get Tuan Zebe, because I know Tuan Zebe was there on loan. So maybe they like use the money from Koulibaly to like get Tuan Zebe back, because I think Tuan Zebe is pretty good. But other than that, I wasn't really finding that much, because it's like no one wants to go to Napoli like that. That's why I have them. Like my expectation for them is fifth. I have Lazio, then Napoli. Especially since like I don't even like Sarri. Like I don't think he's that good.
I've never like he just plays such specific style of soccer, and I think that got picked up on by a couple clubs, and a couple clubs like it's the thing when like he's like innovative. He brings a new thing to soccer, like he did like Bielsa. Bielsa has had like outside of a championship promotion, like he's not really had any real success in soccer.
Oh, I don't know. Bielsa's been in coaching for so long, and I'm so not acquainted with everything Bielsa's done that I'm not gonna say anything. Bielsa has done something. I feel like he has done something. I don't remember what it was because I haven't watched soccer for that long. But Bielsa used to be like a legendary coach somewhere before Leeds, so I'm not gonna say anything about that. He's like one of those.
Was he at like Bielsa? He was at like River Plate or something, right?
I don't remember. I feel like he is Argentinian though.
Yeah, he is Argentinian. Yeah.
But yeah, for those reasons why I have Napoli finishing fifth. So we have Lazio sixth, Napoli fifth, fourth place. I have Roma. I don't know if you agree with that, but here are my reasons why. Roma finished sixth place last year. Not the greatest showing, but you got to realize that it was like under Mourinho. It was Mourinho's first season there. Sixth place is decent for how competitive the Serie was and how much Roma was playing, because they ended up winning Conference League. So they played every game possible in the Conference League. But in terms of who is like leaving Roma, who's entering Roma, you have a lot of interesting signings, to be fair. And I think you would expect that from someone like Jose Mourinho, because at the end of the day, even though Roma finished sixth, like if Jose Mourinho tells you to come to a club, there's a big possibility you might go just because Jose Mourinho who's calling to a club. So the funniest one out of all the like transfers coming into Roma is like Matic for free. That's like the most Jose Mourinho signing I've ever seen in my life. It's like
he bought Matic like 3 separate times. Like he loves Matic.
It's like Ancelotti with James, and who was it? Sarri with Jorginho. Was it Sarri that brought Jorginho over from Napoli? It's like he just likes the players, so he just brings them everywhere. But Matic for free coming into Roma. I think that's a really good signing because I swear to God they have like no midfield.
Mhm.
They have do you know like Zeki Çelik, the
Oh
Turkish
yeah,
right back?
from Lille. Yeah, he's a good
Yeah,
he's a good right back. They needed
yeah,
a right
he's a
back.
really
Cars
good.
doesn't fit there. Like that's a great signing. The
He's
signings they've
25
made are
years old.
like, I mean, I didn't love them like losing Mkhitaryan for free, but like
Yeah.
the signings they've made have been really good. Like it's Modic is good depth. That's really important when they play like Coppa Italia when they play smaller games. Like having Selic come in like a really good like right back to come in really like hold that spot down, and still having like the depth of like Karsdorp too, like to go in. Like that's really like vital for them. Like they're getting a lot of good guys coming into the club. And I think
Mhm.
that will really help them do it. I think maybe I agree with you that they're in fourth just because I don't think they're on the level of like the Milan teams or Juventus yet, because I do think Juve is going to be a lot better this year. But like having won the Conference League last year, they have a lot to build on. They kept most of the team together. Like that's an exciting squad, and I think they're going to be really good. I think they're really going to make a push in Europa League this year. I could see them winning it, to be honest, but I do see them finishing fourth. I just don't think they're quite on that level of the other three clubs yet.
Yeah, it's also like the first time we see something like that. Like you have a sixth
Mhm.
place team now getting to play Europa League next season. I'm sure that has to do a lot with like how many players and what the quality of the players and the caliber of the players that they can attract. Because
Mhm.
now it's not only Roma, the weight of the badge. Now you have Jose Mourinho, the weight of the manager, and now you have the weight of the competition in the Europa League, even though you finished sixth. They
Mhm.
also brought in Svilar from Benfica, a really young
Mhm.
goalkeeper. Um, they sold Paul Lopez and Cengiz Under to Marseille for a combined 23 million. Robin Olsen to Aston Villa for 4 million. Florenzi went to AC Milan for 3 million. Like you said, Mkhitaryan went for free to Inter. Sergio Oliveira, who I hope goes back to Roma because I think he's really good. His loan
But he's
ended
at
and he's
he
back.
went to Galatasaray, right?
I don't know where he went, but I know his
Galatasaray. I remember I saw this on the Galatasaray 4 mil. He was there for half a season.
his loan
Yeah.
just ended and he left
Yeah.
Porto.
Mhm.
But looking at the at Roma, just what they need and what they want, I think they need a big midfield signing. Like I said, when you look at their lineup, nothing stands out in the midfield. Like you have Cristante, who's like been good and a young player. You have the Awara, same thing for him. You have Matic, who just came in and he's adding good depth. That's cool. Then you have like Verital. No, like he's okay. He's good. He's okay. Like he's super mid. Gonzalo Villar, I like because he's young, he's Spanish, and Spanish midfielders tend to be really good. He was on loan at Getafe, I believe. And he did really good in La Liga. I hope to see him play under Mourinho, but Mourinho's more of a Matic is starting every single game because I trust him.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, they have like Pellegrini as an attacking mid. They have Zaniolo, but Zaniolo is linked to
Juve, right?
Juventus.
Yeah.
He's linked to Juventus. So I think that Roma need a big midfield signing and they need a big attacking signing because they already have Tammy Abraham up there. Other than Tammy Abraham, they have like Justin Kluivert coming back. They have Asharawi, who hasn't been like good ever.
Mhm.
Zaniolo's up there, but he's linked to Juventus, like we said. You have Carlos Perez, who used to be really good at Barcelona, but I don't even know, like, he's not even a real player anymore. I don't know. But Tammy Abraham is really good, and I think you need to put someone up there with him, if not like two people up there with him. Um, yeah, I think you need a big midfield signing and they need a big attacking signing. Other than that, I think they're pretty solid and they can have a good run. Um, I think they'll finish fourth because I don't see them finishing over either of the Milans or Juventus.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but in terms of wants, they were linked to Awar, which would be an insane signing for Roma, but he seems too big to go to Roma.
I don't know. I thought his
He
transfer,
seems
like
too
I was
big.
on a, I actually was looking at him the other day on transfer market. His like expected fee would only be like 15,
I
like
think in
15
terms of
million.
name and who's been linked to before, he'd be like gigantic for Roma.
Mhm. Yeah.
Other than that, I think like maybe they could look around for other midfielders like Danny Ceballos at Real Madrid, who's probably
Yes.
never gonna play again because they just signed Chouameni. They have Camavinga, they have Tony Kroos, Luka Modric, Casemiro, they have Fede
Valverde.
Valverde who plays there. Like so, I think teams can look at Ceballos as a young Spanish midfielder who's
Yeah.
played and trained under some of the best managers and some of the best players to ever play the game in his position. So maybe get him on a loan. They had Borja Mayoral from Real Madrid already on loan. Um, So you have a good relationship with Real Madrid as a club. So maybe get Ceballos on a loan, see what you can work out there. Um, I would say to get another center mid, if unless Matic is enough next to someone else.
Mm.
Um, Roma is also linked to Dybala. So if
I
you
don't.
lose Zaniolo to Juventus and you could pick up Dybala, I think that would be insane.
I mean, what do you think of Dybala? Like, especially if you use Zaniolo too, Dybala fits in perfectly in that second striker spot. I mean, Mourinho has shown he loves playing like a 5-2-1-2, and attacking mid behind them, putting like Pellegrini in that spot. Zaniolo doesn't like Zaniolo is a really good player. I know he's coming off an injury, didn't have the best statistical season last year, but in that spot, like he's not an out and out striker. Like he doesn't really fit next to Tammy Abraham. And I know Dybala is not like a striker. Like, he's not like a striker. He's not going to go up and like get the ball. He's not going to like. He's more of like a false nine sort of guy, like an attacking mid. But he can play that second striker spot really well. And I think like if I'm Dybala right now, if I have my pick of any team, like Inter, he's not getting into Inter. He's not starting in that squad. Um, I'd be worried. Like Milan would be good, but I'd be worried about like where he would fit in there because they just signed Origi. We'll get into that in a second. I don't know where he'd fit in there. Juve, obviously, like, he's leaving there. So like Roma, I feel like for Dybala would be like ideal. Like that would be like his ideal place to go.
I don't know. The way I see Dybala is like a player that is actually really good, but because of injuries and because of like the team that he was in, he couldn't play as good as
Mm.
he could have been. It's not that he's not good anymore. I just feel like he's not under the right circumstances to be good
Yeah.
anymore. I think that like under the right conditions, he could start in any team in Italy. And but if I'm like Dybala or like as a fan of the game, I would want to see Dybala go to another league because like I don't like I always thought that he was too good to just play in Serie A. So maybe seeing him at like a top 8 club in the Prem or like something crazy, like one of those random Atletico Madrid signings, like Dybala to Atletico Madrid or Dybala to Barca or something. I think
Yeah.
Dybala still has it because I remember he got subbed on against Villarreal when Villarreal was already like beating them like
Yeah.
2-0, 3-0, and Dybala was really, really, really good. Like he was dribbling through everyone and he was causing the only trouble that Juventus was able to like exert on Villarreal. So I look at Dybala. Yeah, sure, go to Roma.
Mhm.
Um, Great, but he could definitely go anywhere else. I don't think he's a bad player. I just think at Juventus he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I think that Roma we could expect a fourth place finish, and that's a lot riding on like the fact that Tammy Abraham is that good, and the fact that like they have Jose Mourinho, and Jose Mourinho is going to bring stability to what was a really young squad with like guys like Matic and I don't know. I think Zelic was a really good signing, like you said, from Lille, 25 years old, I right back. Um, they could lose Mkhitaryan for free. It's fine. They made a lot of money on Paul Lopez and Cengiz Under, but
No. I mean, just as a guy, I recommended this to literally every Prem team, but like Jesse Lingard's right there.
Jesse Lingard.
Go get Lingardinho, bro. Get Lingardinho at Roma with he's like the perfect like Jose Mourinho signs this guy and immediately hates him. That is such a Jose Mourinho. Like this guy plays 5 games a season and he plays like way out of position because Mourinho hates him, but he still signed him.
I don't know.
No,
Lingard Lingard's still riding like that 2017, 2018 season or whatever year it was that he was an absolute monster.
come
But
on,
I don't
like
know.
6 goals. Yeah,
It's Jose Mourinho, so he could sign anyone. He'll like bring James back from retirement or something. But yeah,
no,
I have for those reasons I have Roma finishing fourth. So far we've had Lazio in sixth, Napoli in fifth, Roma in fourth. And I think there's a debate to be had whether Napoli can finish above Roma. But I think that the top three is very set in Serie A. Starting with the team that I think will be in third place, Inter Milan, and that's also arguable, which might show you how competitive the league is. But I have Inter Milan finishing third. Here's why. Last year they finished second place. They won the Super Coppa Italiana. They won the Coppa Italia. Um, so that's like a triple of some. No, that's a double of sorts. The second place last year they lost by like 2 points. I think the to AC Milan. It might have been like 66, 64. I know they lost by 2 points. Like it came down to the last match day. But I have Inter finish. Wait, did I say second? Third? I said third.
you said well, yeah, you have third, I think, yeah, because we're doing the order. Yeah, you have third, yeah.
Hmm. don't want to put them third. AC Milan. I feel like AC Milan's right there.
We're committed. You just would have to
You know
re-intro
what? Yeah. You know what? I'll
Milan, or do you want to just ride with it?
I'll switch them right now. I
You switch them
think
now?
that
Okay.
yeah, I'll switch them right now.
Chris, will my edit this out, please?
No, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. You're just talking. He doesn't have to. You don't have to say that.
We're just talking. We're just talking, Chris.
We're just talking. Like
Got you.
third place. Third place. I'll switch them right now. I think AC Milan will get third place.
Sure.
Here's why. They got first place last year. But I think that was like, you know how Leicester won the league, and it's like, oh, that's crazy. And like Atletico Madrid won the league 2 years ago, and like that was crazy.
Yeah.
But like last year, I think it was one of those. They lost a crazy amount of like key players. Like everyone, I know Zlatan is like old, but like Zlatan came up so clutch for them in so many games to win that league. And he's like done. They lost Kessié, which I think is like the biggest.
That's crucial.
It's like, dude, what do you think is a bigger loss? Like Koulibaly leaving Napoli or Kessié leaving AC Milan?
Like, I feel like with Kessié, especially, like, to me, he's one of the most underrated defensive mids in the world. Like, he really just goes, like, he does what people think Conte still does. He just goes and gets the ball. He can pass really well. He can pass out of the back. He can pass anywhere on the field. He's a body. He can go, like, he was so, because Tonali is a defensive mid. He hangs back. He's good defensively, but he's not like this, like, huge defensive force.
Dude, the crazy part is that Kessié would play CDM naturally, but he was playing like Cam for like a lot of this season for AC Milan, where they'd have like Tonali and Benasser behind him. And not only that, but Kessié took all their penalties and wouldn't miss a single one. They also lost Romagnoli, and obviously, like I said, they lost Zlatan. And they've brought in like Origi for free. They've brought in Florenzi from Roma. But I just don't think that fills any kind of gap or any kind of hole whatsoever. I think they clutched up last season, bringing all those guys together, and I just think that falling apart is just not like it's not gonna happen again. Like, what are the chance? Like, they didn't know that Tomori was gonna be that good. They didn't know that Hernandez was gonna be that good, and like that's what you need to win the league. As a team that's not like super expected to do so, you need guys to like outperform what you think they're going to do. And I just don't think they can bank on that this year, and they haven't made any moves to prove to like do otherwise. Like they've brought in Origi. I think Origi is a good signing, and it is a replacement of like Zlatan somewhat. I think the only thing that they can bank on now is like Brahim Diaz having a really good season, or like Rafael Leao. Rafael Leao was disgusting for AC Milan. If he can do anything,
Serie player here.
Yeah, if he can do anything like close to that again, then like maybe. And they have Ante Rebic up there as well. But I just think losing Kessié is so huge. Like they have to sign someone that's like really, really, really good. And the problem with that is that even though AC Milan won the Serie A, they're not like the biggest team in Italy. Like Juventus is still the biggest team in Italy, and AC Milan is not a premier team in terms of transfers. Like they are a big team in Europe, but they're not a premier team. Like when I think of like premier team bringing in transfers, I'm thinking about like top four in Prem. You have like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern, Juventus. Like those guys could get anyone they want. Now like AC Milan is like a stretch because like I think guys think like, yeah, they won the league last year, but like I don't think they will this year, you know? Whereas like City won the league this year, guys that go to City are like, yeah, we could definitely do that again. But I don't know. That's why I have them finishing third. In my opinion, I feel like they need a center back. Like I said, they lost Romagnoli. They need a replacement for Kessié badly. I know we spoke of like Dybala, but dude, Dybala's not even a replacement for Kessié, to be fair, because like Dybala can only play up top. Kessié was playing up top and in the midfield. I think they need a winger as well. They already have Leao and they have Rebic, but someone on the right side.
I mean, they've started Salamakers from he's Belgian at that spot a lot. I don't like. I've watched him play. He doesn't. Do anything.
I'm not in love with him. Like I don't. He's like, all right.
Like they've been linked to Day. I would never in my life be able to pronounce. It's like Day Coulier from Club Bruges in Belgium.
They get Talar from Bruges.
He can play right wing. He was a very, very good spot. Like I see why they're linked to him. I feel like he would fit that team really well.
Yeah, they're also linked to your Hakim Ziyech.
Oh yeah, Hakim Ziyech would be perfect for that squad. Balls over the top, like Leao running down that side, cutting in, or Origi's up there, like Brahim Diaz is kind of like floating on the outside of that box. He would be perfect, like getting balls. Like that's exactly what they need is like a really like a huge playmaker like that. Yeah. And please take another Chelsea guy that needs to go off my hands. Like just any excuse to do that. Like Ziyech, like if you're listening to this, you should go to Milan. You'll have a good time in Milan. Like it's a pretty city. It's a pretty city. You like dressing nice. There's a lot of good fashion there.
Yeah.
Like
It would have
pizza.
been. I thought you were about to start speaking like Moroccan. Ziyech, if you're listening,
I cannot do. I cannot. I'm not.
starts begging him in Moroccan.
If this pod gets canceled, it's because I try to do an accent. Like that's what'll happen. Like I'm already mispronouncing everybody's name. It's
Yeah,
if I
definitely don't.
Accent like
Definitely don't. But yeah, they're linked to the Ketelaar and they're linked to Ziyech, both on the wing, like the other wing spot that I said they might need. Like I said, they also need a center back because that's from Magnoli. They're linked to Tanganga from Spurs. They're linked to Renato Sanchez, who I'd love to see play at a big team, like again, like try it out again. But there's a rumor that Ben Nasser might leave, which kind of sucks for them. They're also linked to Lamela, who I don't think is that good, but I don't know. They didn't get Sven Botman, who ended up going to Newcastle, in order to get like a attacking mid or like splash money elsewhere. And like we mentioned earlier, Dybala might be a really good option. And obviously we talked about like the Ketelaar and Ziyech, but now they kind of have to get an attacker. Like they have to do something. They better not just like, oh, we got Origi and like think that's gonna do anything, because that's just giving the league to Inter and Juventus.
No, I agree with you. Like, especially when you see like how stagnant, they're being like they do need to sign guys, especially like when you consider the moves that like Inter added a lot of depth. Like I didn't think that squad needed like to do much. They added a lot of depth. They kind of built their bench out. Juve's added a lot of key pieces. I think that'll be really crucial for them. But this is like my big, like this might be where we differ. I kind of think Milan will come in second just because, and we'll get to the Juve when we talk about them, and I'll bring up my problems with Juve, but I have Milan in that second spot instead of third.
So you had Inter in third?
I have Inter in first.
Okay, so
okay, we'll get to that.
I have AC Milan third, Inter second, Juve first. You have
Juve third. I have Juve third. Yeah, we'll get to it. That could vary. They could do like a move in like the next month too. That would really change my mind. But like right now, it's third.
You have Juve third, AC Milan second, Inter Milan first.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to Inter Milan then, and maybe you can tell me why. Inter Milan, just a quick recap of what they did last year. Obviously, they got second place in the league. They lost it by 2 points. So one match here, one match there, they could have won it. They won a Supercoppa Italiana, and they won the Coppa Italia, like I mentioned earlier. They brought in Joaquin Correa for 26 million. They brought in Lukaku on loan. They brought in Onana for free. They brought in Mkhitaryan for free. I think the big punch that Inter took was losing Perisic for free to Spurs. Perisic is so good. Like, he's so underrated. And for you to lose him for free to Spurs, that's why I think Spurs might have a better season than Chelsea, man. You add Richarlison, you add Perisic. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely market if you think Perisic is going to be what gets them over Chelsea, but I digress.
Dude, we already talked about that's like a ridiculous depth, though. But they also lost Arturo Vidal, who I think is like a Swiss Army knife in the midfield. But they obviously have like Barella and like other guys. But yeah. In terms of like needs, I think they need a right mid or like someone to run up and down in that formation, because they like to play 3-5-2. And they have like Matteo Darmian playing out there, like, or like Denzel Dumfries sometimes. But
they're using that more as like a wing back spot. I actually really like Dumfries in that spot. I actually disagree with you a little bit. Dumfries is very capable as an attacker. I just like Inzaghi's thing is he really wants a lot of rotation in the squad. He's really like dead set outside of like Barea. Like Barea's in the squad every week. Brozovic is in the squad every week. Skriniar, De Vrij have been in the squad every week, even though Skriniar was about to leave. Like Dumfries and Darmian like kind of platooning that spot. I actually, as wingbacks, I actually don't mind either of them. Like and at that other wingback spot too, like signing Robin Gosens, having a full healthy season with him. We saw what he did at the last Euros. He was great. Like,
I guess they would just have to be able to keep Skriniar and like keep Bastoni. I'm not a big fan of De Vrij, but like in terms of like if you really, really want to compete, because I don't like when I look at a team in terms of like what they could do better. I don't like if you're Inter Milan, you don't just want to compete for the league. Like this team, the team they have right now, yeah, you can compete for the league, but you're not competing for Champions League. In order to compete for Champions League, looking at their team, They have to keep Skriniar. They have to play Bastoni. They need another center back that's better than De Vrij. And that's because their midfield, in my opinion, is not that strong. Like Brozovic is good, but in terms of Champions League level, he is so mid. Barella is good enough. Çalhanoğlu, I guess, he's good. Like, I guess.
I mean, maybe Ray is like the most underrated, one of the most underrated midfielders in the world.
Ray is really good.
You asked me earlier, like, who's the best midfielder in Serie A, and I was like, I asked you, like, who's better than Milinkovic-Savic? It might be Barea.
Yeah, no, Barea is better than Milinkovic-Savic.
Yeah.
The thing with Barea is, like, at least I might be biased, is that you could take him out of the game really easily. He had like a super disgusting assist against Real Madrid, or like a little heel flick to Lautaro Martinez, or it might have been like if Inter played like Liverpool or something. I know he had a disgusting assist. It might have been like last season or something. I don't remember. It's like etched him up. It was against Real Madrid because it was like disgusting. It was last year. A little heel flick to Lautaro Martinez, who also Lautaro Martinez I think is insanely good. He might be too good for Inter. He could easily go to like a top 3 team in the world. But Lautaro Martinez up there with Edin Dzeko, backed up by Nicolo Barella. You want someone that's like not Brozovic and Çalhanoğlu backing them up if you want to win the Champions League. Which again, I think should be the goal of these like teams. Like the top 2 teams in every league should be looking at Champions League. Maybe not Ligue 1, or like Bundesliga, because the second team would be like Dortmund and they never have a chance. But when you're a top team, you want to be looking at both things, domestic and international competitions or European competitions. And I just don't think that Çalhanoğlu and Brozovic are those guys. But you can kind of mask them. Like, let's say if you got a better midfielder, you could like play him next to Brozovic, and then Brozovic won't be as bad because he has Barella on one side and a really good midfielder on the other. But maybe not like what I said, like that Inter needed a right mid because they have Dumfries and Darmian. But they definitely need something in the midfield. And Gosens has been like in and out. So who knows if he could really replace Perisic. But in order to do all that, they need to keep Skriniar in the first place. So it's like so many moving parts. And I guess that's why I have him in second place. In my opinion, I think that Inter will finish in second place. But you have them, winning the league?
I just think, like, I mean, even if they do sell Skriniar, like Skriniar was linked to PSG very heavily, like, they could very easily go bring in Bremer, go bring it from Torino, go bring in, like, Kimpembe's up for grabs. Like, you could probably – there's a lot of guys that, like Chelsea may sell Levi Colwill, who is a very, very good player. There's other guys that float. Victor Lindelof would probably be available. Like, there's guys that are floating out there that could be very easily fill that spot.
I don't think any of the guys that you named will make them more competitive in the Champions League.
I don't think they make them more, but my thing is they don't make them less competitive. You just need to fill that. Like, that's a hole you need to fill, is that other center back spot.
I don't know. I think in a 3, I don't know. I think he's their best defender for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I love the depth they've added. I think Mkhitaryan could when you need someone to like take like Çalhanoğlu's spot, like compete with Barea, like Mkhitaryan fits that spot. And the last time they won the league 2 years ago, up top they're playing Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez. Didn't have him last year, finished second. Now they have Lukaku back. I think, like, I get Lukaku to have the best season for Chelsea. I think that has a lot to do with him not wanting to be there, outside factors with the club, but like, he's a good striker. They have that tandem back that won the league. They fixed all their pieces. They might lose Skriniar. They can very easily fix that piece. Like, I'd be like and then I just like defensively, we'll get to Juventus, but I have problems with them. I don't think they'll win the league. Like Milan, I don't think Origi's it, and losing like Kessié is, I think, gonna crush them. Like, I think they just kind of eke it out.
That's why I had Milan like third. Yeah. Like Milan already took the hit that Inter should try to avoid. Milan lost Kessié. Inter hasn't lost Skriniar yet. Napoli already lost Koulibaly. Like, these teams are getting picked apart, and Inter hasn't taken that hit yet. So that's why I think second place is fine for Inter, and third place is fine for AC Milan. With Juventus, in my opinion, Juventus being first. We could talk about Juventus right now.
Let's talk about Juve right now, man. I might rant about Juve. I have things I love about Juve and things I hate about Juve.
Okay, so Juventus.
Yeah.
Fourth place last year. Obviously, like, that's what happens when Cristiano Ronaldo leaves your team. It's happened to every team before them. Cristiano Ronaldo leaves your team, you have a disgustingly bad year. Fourth place last year. They have brought in Pogba for free and Di Maria for free, which, in terms of name at least, are really, really good signings. I'm not the biggest fan of Pogba like that. I think he's really good, but it just depends on the system. And obviously at United, he just wasn't that guy. But I think Di Maria's a really, 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 really good player. that can play on any team, and I think that's a really good signing, especially for free, especially with the amount of experience that Di Maria brings to a team and to an attack. Like you saw him for PSG, he was extremely dangerous to the point where like if PSG didn't play without him and they just played with like Neymar, Mbappe, Messi, like the team wasn't as dangerous because you have three superstars. Whereas Di Maria's like experienced enough and like really a danger enough that he can just play. Like he's not shy because Messi's there. He's not shy because Mbappe is there or Neymar, and he's really like a good player. Just players that left Juventus. You have like Chiellini who went to LAFC, which is somewhat like a big hit because like they've always played like Chiellini and Bonucci. I know like De Ligt is there, but like.
Well, the problem with that, this is my problem with Juve right now, is they're losing all like. I get Chiellini's like older. He's on his way out eventually too, and that wouldn't matter if De Ligt wanted to stay. He's linked to Chelsea. He's linked to Bayern, like very heavily to both. Probably to Bayern, I would say, is more likely. But like, if he leaves, like, who are you starting next to Bonucci? And Bonucci's already like 36, 37. Like, you start Daniel Rugani. They can go sign someone, sure. Like that, they could go sign someone that would probably change my whole mind about this. Go get Kimpembe, go get Bremer. Same problem as Inter. But like, if you roll into the season and you're like, our starting back line is like Alexandro, who's like 34 or whatever, Daniel Rugani, who's not good, Bonucci, who's like 36, Quadrado, who's a right wing playing right back. Like, that's not like, it doesn't matter if you're putting up 3 goals a game if you're letting in 4.
Well, here's the thing. You lost Chiellini. I agree with you on that. Alexandro's not that old. He's like probably like 30, 31. That should be like the prime of his career. Quadrado is not that great at defense. He's better at attacking. But you can always smash that. Real Madrid won like 3 Champions League in a row playing with Dani Carvajal and Marcelo. Dani Carvajal is not that bad at defense. He's pretty good at defense. But Marcelo wasn't that good of a. To be honest, I think Marcelo was a good defender, but just because I'm biased. But what I'm saying is, with really attacking wing backs or really attacking full backs, every team that's won the Champions League in the last like 4 years has done so. Like, probably you can even say that about Chelsea if you wanted to. You can for sure say that about Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andrew Robertson for when Liverpool won and Real Madrid every time they won before that. So you can do it. Like, you can rock Quadrado like if you want. Alexandro's not the problem. You can, if you can get the link to stay, because he is linked to a lot of teams, but I still don't think he'll leave. If you can get the link to stay, there's a bunch of guys you could get. And like when we were talking about premier teams in terms of transfers in the world, Juventus is definitely one of them. Why else like would Chiesa go to that team? Why else would like Vlahovic go to that team when it was supposed to be like washed because we're winning the league? Like I said, they ended 4th last year. Dude, there's a bunch of players that they could get, and they could definitely get it. Why? Because they're Juventus, and they have the money to not only pay the transfer but to pay their wages, and they're playing Champions League next season, and they're definitely going to compete for the Serie A title next season. The problem is, if I have to agree with you, anything is that they're losing a lot of players. Like they're losing Chiellini, so now you have to figure something out by the back line. You're losing Dybala, that's a really big hit. That's probably like your player, like that's your guy for the last like I don't even know how long. Dybala's been playing there for a long time, like 2014 or something. Yeah. They're losing Bernardeschi as well. Both of those guys are out of a contract. Morata's leaving because he's going back to Atletico Madrid. Isn't necessarily a hole to be filled, but you talk about an attack that could be Chiesa, Vlahovic, Di Maria. That's really strong. That's super duper competitive in the Serie A. That's super competitive in terms of world football, in terms of winning the Champions League. I think that's the best attack in the Serie A, straight up. I agree. If they play and if they're healthy. Then you have like Weston McKennie, Zakaria, maybe Archer, maybe Locatelli. Like, that's a really good midfield. Alexandro, he's not the greatest, but with an attack like that, with a midfield like that, he's good enough. The Ligt is really good. Szczesny's probably the best goalie in Serie. No, yeah.
I would put Mike Maignan.
Yeah, because Maignan had a better,
yeah.
Maignan had a better season last year.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, if we're talking about
good,
if we're talking like, I love the pieces that Juve brought in. Like, their biggest problem last year after they signed Vlahovic, their biggest problem before that was like, we don't have a striker. Okay, well, they had Murata. Murata's not good. Whatever. You get him there. You don't have anybody. Like, you need these play. Like, he's not Harry Kane. He's not going to come get the ball. He just scores. That's this whole thing. You need guys that are coming and get him the ball. That's why you signed Di Maria. You signed Pogba. You're getting a full season of Chiesa, McKennie. Like, you have all these playmakers surrounding your goal scorer back. And I I really do. Like, I think they could. I don't think they're going to win the league, but I could very easily see them like putting up the most goals in the league. That offense is going to be like,
I don't
even
know.
like
I might have to disagree
crazy.
with you,
Uh,
like on terms of like Vlahovic not getting the ball. That
mm,
guy was problems for Villarreal. Like when they were playing, like and Juve wasn't doing anything. Vlahovic
mm,
was doing everything. He would get the ball with his back turned
yeah,
to the center back, turn him in, and go at the goal and shoot. Like, and he scored against Villarreal. I think Blavic is really, really good. I think he's
he's
super
incredible.
complete.
He's
He
incredible.
might,
Yeah,
dude, he's like right up there with, like, we just need some consistent seasons out of him, but he's right up
yeah,
there with, in terms of hype, with Erling Haaland. Like,
yeah.
Blavic could have easily played for anyone he wanted to. He just ended up going to Juventus.
Mm.
Chiesa's really good, and he's shown that he was just injured. Like, Chiesa's really, really, really good. And like, I already hyped up Di Maria. Weston McKinney's super promising. Zakaria super promising. Arthur just needs a better midfielder to play with. You also have like a Telly in that team. You also have like Rabiot. You don't need to buy another midfielder. You
I
could get a
had
left
a, I
back
had a
if you
thought.
want.
I had a thought. Like, Delict is going to leave. Why? Like, you have four guys that you need to fit into a 3-man midfield. Play Zachariah as a center back.
They could. I mean,
He's very
who
defensive.
knows?
Like, he's a defensive mid through and through. Kind of, he's very similar to Kessier, who we talked about in terms of his play style. Like, I could very easily see him in that spot.
They could try it out. But like I said, they're Juventus and they could get anyone they want. Why not
Mhm.
go for like Gabriel from Arsenal has been linked to
Yeah,
Juventus? Why not go out and get Pau Torres? Like, why is Villarreal not getting picked apart right now? Like they made the Champions League semifinal. There have to be really good guys on that team. Pick them apart. Look at Danjuma. Like he's insane.
he's incredible. I
Someone
was
get him.
surprised.
He's too good for
Yeah,
Villarreal.
I was
Like
surprised on Juma didn't end up at like Liverpool or something. Like he's incredible. He's like really special. He's gonna end up
dude,
somewhere huge.
Pau Torres. Why is no one getting Pau Torres? He's so young.
Yeah,
He's so good. He starts for the Spanish national team, I believe. I think so. Get him. Left back Correa, bro. Why not?
yeah.
You're Juventus. You have the money. You have the attractiveness about you.
Mm.
But I think your team is way too solid to not finish first place. I think everyone else has way more question marks.
I agree. I don't know. I just see the defensive thing, but I also like I have the same problem like with them as Inter and like my same. You can just go sign a center back, and I would flip like so. Like if they go sign like Kimpembe, they go sign Pau Torres. Like my opinion of Juve flips so fast. Like I could very like any of the like both the Milan squads and Juve. I could see them finishing it. Like I think like 4, 5, 6 is pretty set. I'd be shocked if that ends up out of order. Like 1 through 3, like the Milan clubs, Juve. I could see that finishing in any order. I really could. I just like heart of hearts. I think I see Milan just kind of the most like deep and balanced team.
It could definitely happen. I don't know. I have it Lazio, Napoli, Roma, AC Milan, Inter Milan, Juventus. I don't know. Anything can happen. That's why we watch the sport. But in terms of like who has the most complete teams, who has taken the least amount of hits, like Juve took a no hit. Why did he lose Chiellini, bro? AC Milan lost Kessier, probably the best player behind Rafael that season.
Yeah.
Inter Milan is like, we'll see what they can do. But yeah, I don't know. What was your order again? Like, what was your
So
final?
same back three as you. So I have Lazio 6, Napoli 5,
Napoli,
Roma
Roma.
4. I had Juve 3, AC Milan 2, and then Inter 1.
It's valid. It's arguable. That's why the league was super competitive last season, anyways. Um, but yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. You have your order. I have my order. Obviously, we're doing this episode what beginning of like almost mid July.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of transfer window left. All these teams are expected to make big moves. Like Juventus could definitely drop if they lose the league for sure. Who knows if Chiesa is going to be fully fit and playing how we expect Chiesa to play? Who knows if AC Milan are going to be able to plug that hole of like losing Kessie? Inter Milan, same thing. Like, are they going to lose Skriniar? There's still a bunch of question marks. I guess what we've done in this episode is like try to decipher a bit what we think is going to happen, and based on that, who we think they should buy. In terms of like what they've done already, like because a lot of these teams have lost a lot of players, like we just mentioned. But yeah, this was our valiant effort at trying to do that, which is not that easy because, like we just said, there is so much time to go and there's so many transfers to be made. To be fair, Serie is probably like the second most that I watch. I watch it more than Premier League.
That's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, I think we call it quits. It was a valiant effort, but who knows? Now we have like record of like who we think is going to be the top 6, and we could look back on this and see how we did. Especially like we could do it right after the transfer window ends, see how these teams ended up plugging the holes that we called out.
Mm.
But yeah, I think this is the end of our episode. Yeah. Just to run it back, I had Lazio, Napoli, Roma, AC Milan, Inter, Juventus. Connor had Lazio, Napoli, Roma, Juventus, AC Milan, Inter, correct?
Yes.
Call us out on it. Tag us. Kill us. Hashtag us.
Don't kill us. Don't kill us. I'd be very sad if I got killed.
Nah, bro. Please find me on Twitter and like just like
light Rafa up on Twitter. Treat Rafa like the pod treat
when they find war, bro. Come for me on Twitter, please. I have yet to like I've gotten into a really heated one on Twitter. But yeah,
I got shamed on the Twitter for being colorblind the other day.
Yeah, I saw Michael murdered you
by myself because I tweeted that.
That is hilarious that you're a Chelsea fan, but you're colorblind to like certain shades of blue. That's ridiculous.
Well, yeah.
Bro thinks he has a white kit every year.
No, I saw the brown kit got leaked. I'm just buying the brown kit. Like I bought one blue kit ever. I'm just gonna keep that forever.
Only buy kits I can see. But yeah, my name is Rafael de los Santos alongside Connor O'Brien. This is our Serie episode. Next, you can expect our La Liga one. Make sure you're following us on Instagram and Twitter so you can know when we're posting next, and on TikTok because we drop TikToks as well. But yeah, like I said, Rafael dos Santos, Connor O'Brien, Serie episode. See you next time.
Peace.